Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video from Veg Grower Podcast. There's a disaster challenge that's been going around. I don't know if I've been nominated yet, but I saw Simon from 50 Shades of Green has opened it up to everyone. And that challenge is recalling a disaster that we've had gardening. Well, up until this week, I can't really say I've had many disasters. This week, however, I wouldn't call it a big disaster, but I've had a disaster. I have my potatoes chitting on the shelf behind me. One day after work, I came home and found them all across the floor. I can still obviously use the potatoes, but they were all mixed up. I've worked out what some of them were. I had 10 different varieties and I've worked out all but 3 of them. And the 3 that I've got left are a steamer, international kidney and Arran pilot. So I don't have a clue out of those potatoes what are what. So they're all in a pot, all mixed together. They'll still grow, they'll still produce potatoes of course, but I'm not going to know what is what. So that is my disaster. Before that, I've had mistakes, but I learn from mistakes or failures, but again, they're not really disasters, they're just not done as well as expected. So I don't really like to say disasters, I see them more as learning curves. Anyway, I've been sowing some carrots and I sow them an easy way, so I'm going to put that up now and we'll come back and sign off. So I'm sowing some carrots and I'm going to be doing it my easy way. I've done this a few years ago. Well, I used to do this all the time in the past this way. I haven't used it for the last couple of years and my carrots haven't been as good, to say the least. So I've gone back to it. So what I'm doing, first of all, as you can see, I've already hoed and forked the soil. So all I've now done is just run a string line so I can just make a little indentation of where to put the carrot seeds. Now these are the carrot seeds I'm using from Sutton, so I'll bring it over quickly. Seed tapes, variety called the early Nantes. Used these many times in the past, quite like them. Quite like early Nantes because at this time of year they'll actually do quite well. But the reason I like these is for the fact that the seed tapes make life so much easier. They're not the type that you sprinkle in, which they're on a tape, as the name suggests, obviously. Two rows in here. I think we're only going to need the one today. So I'll bring them back over and show everyone basically before I unwrap it. These are the seed tapes, basically tissue paper. If you look closely, you see there's seeds every so far along it, which gives them the ideal spacing, which means no thinning out later on, which is what I like about them. And quite simply, just pop them onto the soil and cover them with a bit of the compost. Not too thick, they just need a light dusting really. Now the hardest thing with these, I find, is if it's windy, because then it's difficult to keep the stuff in place, because the wind just picks it up and blows it around. We'll just cover that a bit in places with some bit more compost. Doesn't need a thick layer of compost because the seedlings are quite weak on these, so right, that'll do for that row. I'm just going to cover that up with, as I say, my compost. Let's put these into the packet again, trying to keep them dry, but it won't be long till they're used again, the rest, so we'll probably another couple of weeks when I sow a second load. Oh, bits of grass there. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now, just to keep it in place, give it a bit of a watering. Like so. And get a bit of that compost over, not too deep. And again, it's just kind of holding it into place. That'll do. Then being that this is still March, it's probably going to need a bit of protection, not a huge amount, but just a little bit. So somehow I'm going to pop over this. Right, let's get it the right way round. This is where it gets fun. I am here somewhere, aren't I? There we go. And now 2 of these pegs, fold it over to there. Do for there. Come around the other way. There we go. Now I've left the string in place as a marker so I know that there's carrots, because they take a long time to show up, and I suspect the paper will rot away long before anything else. So there we go. Now it hasn't quite gone to the end, but that little bit that's left I'm not too fussed about. I'll get one more for that. But that is this year's carrots sown. Well, not all of this year's, the first load of this year's carrots sown. Well, there you go, guys. That's the carrots sown. First load of carrots this year, for this year anyway. The tunnel is just to hold a bit of heat in, give them a bit of a chance, and to try and keep birds off the seeds. So pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And of course we'll be seeing how they grow throughout the year. So I'm going to sign off now. That's it for this week. If you've enjoyed this video, give us a like. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe and all that jazz stuff. And of course, don't forget to check out my blog, theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk, where you find all my videos, all my blog posts I put up, and things like that, and also a weekly podcast that I do all about growing food in my garden and allotment. So until next time, please take care, and I will see you all again then.